What is madness? Not everyone has the same definition, but one thing I would call madness is blind devotion towards something, to the point where one disregards the impact it has on their own flesh, their own mind. By that I mean, when I tried to upload a 20-hour compilation to YouTube and thinking anyone would watch it. Sure, it'd be Gears or whatever, but there's a simple question to be asked in all of this. Why? Why would I bother? Every video is already in a playlist anyway, so there'd be no point. Who's this even made for? Well, the answer is, it wasn't really made for anyone. Rather, it was made for Gears itself. I wanted to create a tribute to my favorite collection of games on Roblox, and now, it's come to this. If I can't make the tribute I want, I'll have to lean even further into madness. So here's a collection of some of the worst opinions, takes, and interpretations of a game that doesn't really warrant any of it. Okay, so this is the slideshow about Gears video on YouTube by... Yeah, I'm not reading that. So here's the disclaimer slide for losers. I obviously don't know everything about Gears and the games, but I try my best. I don't know how... I don't go into how every game works, as there's way too much stuff to explain for longer games. Okay, so for context, this slideshow was supposed to be attached to the wiki, but I'm just making a video out of it, which was my second idea anyway. But so it refers to a bunch of other stuff that yeah, I'd put this on the wiki if people looked at it. Basically, if you want to know, actually, I don't have to read that. This disclaimer is mainly for the wiki, but there are some games I haven't played yet, and that one's important. And yeah, also games without videos, but that kind of doesn't hold up, because I think I only missed out on 3-ish games. Please play Gears for yourself. That still applies to anyone. So yeah. There's a part 2 even. Also, I made this slideshow several months ago. So I kind of forgot what happened. There's gonna be entries for each game, but the lore stuff I was talking about in the intro happens at the end of the slides, but I kind of just go over each game because, yeah, this was supposed to be for the wiki. And I do kind of like keeping in order. Obviously you can play any game in any order technically if you have someone to unlock it for you. But there's an order that you kind of have to follow if you're doing everything solo. Also, I didn't include Egg Hunt or fan games or April Fools or the many secret games. Because, I don't know. I don't really care for them. I could play the secret games, that would kind of be funny. But some of them are weird. Could make a Serene Promontory. I mean, I guess it was in an outro. Does that count? I don't know. So yeah, Egg Hunts and April Fools have their own videos. As you would know, since you obviously watched all my videos already. Also, I slander strict construction. Sorry, everyone. I know that's not good. Here's the actual content. So for Gears itself, Gears is a game with a lot of games within it, and most of them are puzzle exploration, esoteric games like this one by John YouTube channel. Hub for most of the Gears games, and even a hub for other hubs. And it works off a progression system, meaning one would ideally have to play all the games in order, but as I said earlier, you can obviously have someone unlock stuff for you. And there's an example or whatever, which is common knowledge, honestly. There's a pet room and a badge room. Yeah. I haven't actually talked about Gears, the main Gears game. You'd kind of see everything if you went into play. I don't know. Pink Substation. Oh yeah. There's also fan games. And there's secrets. The next one. And... oh yeah. Again, I got distracted by the game that comes next because I didn't really talk about any games yet. But Orange Heart Vampire Boys, is one of the 6 games in Roblox with an emoji. And it's a shorter and mellow game in the collection. And it requires you to go between various rooms and turn off switches, basically. And the main gimmick is getting keys and unlocking doors. And there's an egg, oh no. And lore fact, that one guy in the later shop is hiding from the police. But yeah, that's the first one I would do. And no one in sight is baby's first. Where the fuck do I go? Because you will get lost. And you have to go to 4, maybe, things and touch specific locations in those areas to unlock the tunnels. So this is like... yeah. It's like, some of these have like mini tutorials, I guess. I don't know. Mainly because it was for the wiki. And I didn't explain, like, on the wiki, if you've ever looked at it, and you should, but if you've ever looked at it, it doesn't really say how exactly to do each game, and mainly because I thought that would take eons to explain. I went over most of what's in the games, but I never actually explained how to beat them, because I also kind of thought that'd be kind of lame. A lot of people probably assume it's like a trick to make people watch my videos, but I mean, you could see it that way, I guess. And that's kind of my lazy solution, is a link a video or my video of someone playing through it so that I don't have to explain it. So yeah, you go underground and you murder a baby. And the baby is a reference to the red present found at the end of Blizzard Bypass, since the baby has a chance to come out of the present. So there's that. And there's also an egg, oh no. And the third one is Musty Old Tomb. Musty Old Tomb. If you go too far out, you get wormed. Don't get wormed. You have to do parkour to get the key for the Jeep and then go down into the pit. Scary large bugs, so I don't like it. The boss's hands in the hitboxes are kind of dumb, and he can push you for some reason. So, yeah, that's annoying. Also, there's an egg that made me hate myself, because it was super easy to get, but I made it look like it was very complicated. Also, I don't know why the worm killed me. Next is Autoclave, oh no. It's cinema. And when I made this, it was the longest game. For a time frame, this came out before Enchanter's Turnpike updated, I believe. So, yeah, this has been here for a while. I kind of stopped developing the wiki, but this was kind of made alongside it just one random day. Mainly to catalog all the lore. But these are kind of just for extra information. There's a lot of secrets revealed on the map by moving to specific areas. Also, Autoclave was really annoying to explain, because a lot of Autoclave is just moving around on islands and walking into specific spots. So, like, trying to explain every single secret would, 1, take 2 years, and 2, be like the longest literature ever written. So yeah, I didn't really go into any of that. And a lot of them weren't even shown in my video, because I was just doing the main path. Your journey from one side of the map, all the way to the other. Where there's an ending now. Also, yeah, the first time I played Autoclave was in the ages of yore, when there literally wasn't an ending. When you went through the final door, it just took you to a placeholder. So, yeah, that was fun. So I'm basically old. And the alt path is getting all the gems and fighting the lame prison boss I still don't know how to beat. And yeah, I did do it accidentally. I think in the video I also complained, because, like, either I'm dumb or it makes no sense. Also, they should still put a checkpoint above the boss arena, because you have to run through the entire building if you die. Also, there's an egg, oh no. Next is this game, which is a parkour challenge. And there's cloud platform and fan gimmicks that are gimmicks. They're gimmicky because they're gimmicks. And there's a speedrun section for Starlight Monument access. Or if you do April Fools, you just get in there. Because otherwise you have to do the entire parkour on the side of the shop. I don't really bother. I just spam click until it lets me in with the relocator. But Skiron, Skyron, Skiron, or Norix if you live in backwards town. Also, the sun part sucks because it's kind of janky. But last time I did it actually wasn't that bad. I just had a worse opinion of it when I made this, I guess. Then the boss is clouds. Next is this for some reason. I guess because I mentioned it, I had to put it here. But the Starlight Monument is the hub to end all hubs. And it's accessed through secret platforms near the pet shop. And it needs that See Above the World speedrun badge. And yeah, easier access with Starlight Relocator from April Fools. And it houses the game that gives you rabies. And it has every other hub in it, but it wasn't always like that. But now if under the main area, you can go to Huskin Tramway and Chromatic Corridors and Gears. And I think that's all you can go to. But like that's basically leads to every single game. It has questionable lore implications in connection to other games for some reason. I guess because it's just a good base thing to build off of. Don't know why Pink Substation is all the way here. I guess there's like a X of games at the start, which is Tomb, No One in Sight, Vampire Boys, and Autoclave. And Pink Substation, I guess you could do at this point. But this is basically the main character of Gears. And you collect hearts to open doors. It's a lot of collecting and opening in all these games. There's a grab bag of gimmicks also, which is popular with the Color series of games. Basically like any game with color and then noun, or like a place. Like Crimson Cataflackway, which I never learned how to pronounce, whatever. I just say that every time, because I'm 5 years old. But yeah, most of the color games tend to have, like, some games focus on just like one gimmick or two, but this has a lot. The game takes place 744 floors beneath Gears, which could explain the fact that the boss is a giant heart, which is a bit speculatory. Defeating the heart of Gears lets you access more stuff. That's why a lot is locked behind stuff. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Also, this is outdated. It doesn't house Lemurian Labyrinth anymore. Because now that's off in the palace, where I always call it the palace. I'm not sure what it's actually called. The place after the teleporter, and then after the Colosseum, which I also just call the Colosseum, even though I don't know what it's actually called. Way up. And then there's this game. Oh boy. I had to update this slide today. Like an hour ago. Because this was when I didn't play it. I honestly never thought I would play Terminal, but Dire Straits, I suppose. It's a walking sim, and it's also a giant maze, which are my two favorite things. It has an egg, oh no. You fight Big Bug Thing and villagers to enter hell, or escape early if lucky, which is, like, I think Secret Stair 1 is, where you just go out normally and then you get that badge. It has strange lore implications, because Rock Bottom is weird, but we'll talk about that later. And it's technically unlocked after Pink Substation, because it's under the bridge that leads to the door that blocks off Black Plexus and other stuff. But you have to have the teleporter to get to it, even though you can just look it up on Roblox and play it early, but who knows? Here's Black Plexus, which is my favorite character. I don't know if that still holds up. Honestly, my tier list is already outdated because I played games since I made it. I probably should have made it now because basically Gears is over for me. I kind of did everything, only kind of, because I missed 2 games. Well, no, I missed 1 game. No, I did miss 2 games, because Dusk and Desistance. That's just because I'm bad. I missed 3 if you want to count the lack of strict construction video on my channel. But I didn't feel like... I do have the badge, I just didn't feel like playing it. Because I don't really enjoy it. But yeah, this is my favorite character, I guess. And it's a game with 4 possible badges, paths, endings, which isn't uncommon now. There's a lot of trains, and there's 3 different bosses, which isn't uncommon now. And it has the most variety of gimmicks, which is probably not true. Most of these things are now taken by Enchanter's Turnpike, because for one, there's Philosopher's Keep, which is like a whole other thing, and also just the main thing of Enchanter's Turnpike is like 4 hours long, and like basically includes every possible thing they could think of, which isn't like a bad thing, but there's an egg, oh no, and the puzzle with this one will make you question everything, and Angler. I'll put the music probably. I don't know if I agree with 3 out of 10. This is old, but strict construction 3 out of 10 apparently. I don't remember where I put on the tier list. I guess refer to that if you want my somewhat updated opinion. I also need to make another. I have to update that video, honestly. Which is a shame. I could just like make an addendum, I guess, where I rank Endless fairly, because I honestly, like, I complained about it a bunch in the video, but it wasn't actually that bad. So it's a mishmashed game. There's a bunch of random elements from random places. You will get lost, but that's just because it's open world or whatever. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it was just okay. That's kind of my opinion of it. It's like kind of weird how it's just a bunch of seemingly random stuff put together, and it kind of just results in something I don't really personally enjoy, but I can see why people would like it. If you don't like just like a hallway that you have to go down, because you kind of do get access to a lot of the map, even though a lot of it is just for fun, I guess. And the boss fight is literally fighting Andromeda or something. I don't know more because I got carried. One of my friends just did the boss for me. So that's cool, I guess. I would normally be against that, but I really didn't want to play strict construction. So I kind of just had someone help. Yeah, I know I'm a coward, you don't have to tell me. And it has an egg, oh no. Don't know where it is at the end maybe. I didn't get it, but I didn't need it, so it doesn't matter to me. I think it is at the end, but I honestly just left because, like, by that time I already did Azure Drains. You only need, like, you don't need all of the eggs to open it, so. Also, annoying first-person mode where you can see your own torso. I have no idea if that's intentional, but it makes the whole game, like, sour. If you look this game, it'd be sour. And no video yet, because I hate it, and that's still true. I don't know. I doubt I actually hate it. I just don't like it as much as others. That's more for rage bait, honestly. But yeah, I'm probably, well, yeah, now I'm definitely not gonna make a game or video, because I mean, I'm acting like all the games got deleted, but that's not true, obviously. And here's strict construction endless. I don't get it. Game where you survive, and you go through a cave that leads to another cave that leads to a bomb that leads to more bombs that leads to a crystal. the I don't get in game where you survive was originally all this slide said, because I didn't play it. But I had that third part, which it's like a really bad explanation of what you have to do. But I kind of appreciate it now, I guess. Like, obviously, if you, like, it kind of sucks if you don't know what you're doing. You can waste a lot of time getting a bunch of materials when you basically only need to get, like, you could basically just never mine stuff. You need, like, wood and stone for that one bridge. And, like, maybe a ladder. But, like, I kind of wasted time getting a bunch of stone and other resources that weren't necessary. Probably the only reason that video is like an hour long or whatever. And here's Lemon Zone, which is also Tuscan. Wait, no, not Tuscan. That's later. I'm thinking of orange when I should be thinking of yellow. It's the Chromatic Corridor's gateway drug, and after beating the boss, you can access it. And it can also be accessed later, after the first time using the badge obtained when you first arrive at the palace or whatever, more wiki stuff. And you go on an Etrog hunt, that's just a description of the badge, I guess. I got lazy. You collect Etrogs in wacky subworlds that have a variety of gimmicks. Because it's a color thing, I don't know. Use the trap to kill stuff. Also, do not kill the lime roller. He is my son. Please do not hurt him. He is the only one left. Also, it leads to Woodworm, Sad Face. I've played this game like 8 different times. This is I always come back to this for some reason. I think the most recent time I did it was to confirm that Dr. Hauser is indeed present, which is very strange. I don't exactly understand why he's there, but cool reference, I guess. And the fact that he's used now makes it like, if you see him, you'll know him. Because he doesn't even appear in stuff, but we're getting ahead of yourselves because that's lore stuff. Next is brown woodwork, woodworm, not for the faint of heart. This game hard, kind of. I don't know. I kind of changed my mind on that. It's like, it's harder than normal, I guess. Like, whatever you'd consider baseline, it's like slightly above. I don't know. I'm bad at games, so don't ask me what games I think are easy or hard. Most recent member to get a new badge, which I think is outdated. I don't exactly remember the timeline, but I'm pretty sure Fate of All Seedlings was before Enchanter's Turnpike. I don't know. It's a game where you use Herbarius for puzzles, and you do parkour that makes me want to blow up my left hand. Because we all know the jump. Everyone knows the jump. But, yeah. And some of the parkour is just like stressful for me, because I really don't want to fall. Boss is jank, and also a vacuum cleaner. Video soon, maybe? Okay, yeah, see, that's how old this is. That video wasn't even... Pretty sure I didn't even record it by then. But, yeah, that's a video now, so... One of the few Fate of All Seedlings videos, perhaps, I don't know. Sometimes I look up other games videos, but... Meh. Escape a giant art garden. What if Termite made an obby? That would be cool, I think. Obby, what you fight in orange. Almost had a big brother, but it was just bait. Rest in peace, Smoldering Arboretum. Maybe outside of Roblox you can exist. I can only hope. Because it would have been cool. Here's Tower in the Fog. Meh. You get kicked for dying. I cheesed it by having multiple people and rejoining after I got kicked. Somehow required for the one badge that gives the hammer. I don't know why. It's not, okay, well, technically it's not required, because I think you can have all the badges in the badge list except for 2 and still have the hammer. There's like a grace thing. So you could skip out on this. Technically, nothing is required. Okay, no, that's kind of a lie. Everything is required except for 2 badges. So whatever 2 badges you leave are up to you, I suppose. I'm not exactly sure if that's how it works, but maybe it is. And it's the only game near the edges of chromatic corridors worth talking about, because the other ones are just kind of, you go in and you get scared and then you get kicked out. Like the new normal, I think it was. I don't know. I don't mingle with those. I guess that's technically outdated since they moved Lemurian Labyrinth over there. And Lemurian is like, it's almost a meme how much I've talked about it. I guess I like the game, I don't know. Here's Chromatic Corridors. It has the best Gears music, which, I think, objectively, Enchanter's Turnpike might have the best music, but my favorite music is still Crimson Cataflack. That's my favorite music. But Chromatic Corridors is like second, probably. And it's a separate hub that hosts somewhat smaller scale games. But yeah, they're like kind of smaller. Like 20-minute adventures, I guess. Or if you're in a hurry like I was, Blizzard Bypass can take you like 8 minutes. One of the few games with like speed potential, I guess. Okay, well, Gravity Gardens doesn't really apply. If you count only the main route, yeah. But if you're doing Crimson Cataflack, that's kind of a traditional experience. There's also Teapot Temple, I don't know. Smaller scale games kind of only applies to Blizzard Bypass, honestly. So I don't know why I put it there. And you can get to Tuscan Tramway from there, but you need Teapot Temple badge, like, for some reason. And it's also the introduction of games with lives, which, I guess if you were doing this in like the order they want you to, but you can get into Enchanter's Turnpike or Lavender Ledges by going through Roblox itself. I guess also, yeah, terminal calculation. I think at this point I like barely even remembered that terminal had lives. So I wasn't really thinking about it when I wrote that, but Old Castle win. In Teapot Temple, you destroy an idyllic arbiter of a holy sanctum worshipping teapots and their splendor. There's a bunch of different rooms, each having a central gimmick. That one guy dies trying to get in, Lamau. If you have a teapot accessory, you might be able to use the actual entrance. If not, you have to do parkour off the right side to enter, which I kind of thought was the only way to get in, but one of my friends had like a teapot thing they used to get in, and I don't exactly know what counts and what doesn't, so like I wouldn't really risk it. But you can try, I don't know, it's strange. Also, the zombie section makes me really nervous. There's Blizzard Bypass, which is maybe my second favorite character. It's a game about parkouring through a strange winter facility with lava. And the game is made for speed, and it's really satisfying. Like, one of the few things you can go fast. I said that earlier, though. And the boss is Tree. The ending takes place in a church because it demonstrates the true meaning of Christmas. And it has an older brother. And kind of go through these faster. And here's got Dusk and Desistance, which I've spelt wrong about 1,000,000 times. I keep saying dissonance because I don't know what desistance is. I don't even know if I spelt it right here. I don't know. And it's the game that gives you rabies. It's Blizzard Bypass's older brother. And the final boss of Gears, I guess, because it's like kind of the hardest one, I don't know. You will die and scream and die again. Hard parkour gauntlet with a timer. These seem kind of out of order, but whatever. I would be able to complete it if I chose to lock in trust, but I've never made that decision. Gravity Gardens. So retro. Fight a boss as an intro, then it becomes somewhat non-linear. There are multiple paths. Help the king collect the wheels and get super killed by the game itself, which also has questionable lore implications that we'll get to. You can make a potion using recipe I'm not sure how anyone figured out, because you just like random buttons. Potion melts the door in one of the towers, unlocking Crimson Cataflackway. Press Control to roll. Rolling allows you to dodge enemies with style and slide under certain obstacles. Shift roll is speed tech if you face backwards or whatever. Stupid information. It's just useless. Crimson Cataflack. Game about blood and organs. Crane gimmick where you move magnetic stuff around. It's also big fish that dies, which is funny. Annoying bomb puzzles that require strict timing. Or at least I thought they were annoying because I four-headed my way through them mostly in the video. And I kept getting lost even though the game isn't even trying to get you lost. I'm just not good at knowing where I am. Fun fact, the footage for this game is sitting on my computer unedited. Just another peek into how long this slideshow has existed, because this was before that video. But yeah, that's a thing now, obviously. Here's Lemur's Labyrinth, which is like, why am I talking about this for the billionth time? But you traverse an ancient burial ground in jungle-laden city to discover a lost tribe's efforts to create a machine to imitate divinity. Which is like, I don't know, it's like the Wikipedia explanation, but... And it needs Crimson Cataflackway badge for some reason. I don't know if that's still a thing. It might not be. I haven't actually checked. I looked at the entrance once when I went to the purple door for that video, but I don't know if it's still required, so that might be outdated info. And I've gone way too far into this game, and I don't think I need to say more. Watch all the videos. You don't actually have to. I hate forcing people to do stuff. Watch all the videos about this game, so there's a lot to discuss. I mean, I guess. The secrets one is like kind of better. I don't know. Has secrets, but they don't do anything yet. True. I wasted so much time staring at walls hoping something would happen. And that freaking catacombs door is never going to open. And the purple door is never going to open, because everything is gone. Also, I don't get the Kopesh puzzle. You just get a Kopesh and I don't know what it does, even though the wall insists that I know what to do. It's really annoying. But I'm pretty sure there's nothing more, I don't know. Someone might prove me wrong with a video that's like, this is what the Kopesh actually does. But for all I know, I'm like one of 3 people that knows. I bet more. There's no way I'm the only one. I bet like the whole Discord server knows. Them and their blue app. I mean, there's an egg no also. And it's like actually the longest egg in the game, maybe. Or in the games. Onto 7 fish. Insane aquarium. Also, the Oscar tech is difficult, but it allows you to finish in record time, as you saw in my video. I'm really good and passionate about 7 fish, so I'd really appreciate if you check that one out. That was like my 80th attempt, I'd say. I wasn't actually keeping count, because like all the time I spent wallowing away in despair trying to hit this Oscar tech, it all just blended into one long sequence. But I did hit it in the end, and that's what I cherish for the rest of my life. Here's Tuscan Tramway, which I used to say like Trainway or something weird, but whatever. And it's the 3rd hub. Yeah, I guess that's right. It has trains that can take you to other stops, so I choose to walk every time. I just walk on the tracks, because I don't know. There's a secret entrance to Black Plexus, which makes disrepair kind of easier, because it kind of drops you at the start. It also houses 3 other games, which are... I blanked for a second. Then Lavender Ledges, Enchanter Turnpike, and shoot, the third one, the diving one. Whatever, I don't care. Also, nobody goes here since the important games can be accessed from Roblox itself. Yeah, take that. Diving game that I forgot the name of. I'll see in it. Oh yeah, Underwater Gospel. Whoops. That's a jab at that, by the way, because I called it unimportant. I'm just too scared to play it because I'm a coward. Here's Underwater Gospel. Scary out of 10. Die for Treasure or something. I haven't played it because I got scared. No video because I got scared and I didn't know what to do and I just shot him. Here's Enchanter's Turnpike. Voted most likely to receive an expansion in 2026. I think that was written after that really old teaser dropped. There was a teaser for the expansion of this, like, eons before it actually came out. And it just showed, like, the mushroom forest, and everyone's like, wow. But then the color palette, it was Enchanter's Turnpike all along. Who would have thought? I thought. I'm who? It's a game about getting ingredients for potions, and then using potions to solve puzzles. Or at least it was at the time. Now it's a game about trying to kill an immortal. Things really have changed, haven't they? It's strenuously connected to Lavender Ledges because the alchemical elements present in that game's puzzle are also mentioned in the recipe to create the giant potion. I guess. I mean, they both have dragonfish adventure people going to them. Because, like, you can see the remnants of them being at Lavender Ledges and stuff. And then the journal. And they obviously also went to Turnpike and created that horrible laboratory where they killed many people. They are not good. Also, the tree dies Lamau. Next is this game. There's more parkour challenges, but now it revolves around hook gimmicks. You use the hook by clicking, then pull yourself up or down by using spacebar and shift. Alternate hooks to move. Oh no, alternate hooks to move horizontally. Yeah. Like, yeah, whatever. Most of the game is in dark caves where they force you into first person, and I got scared by the key because I was in first person. Lots of going back to certain areas after doing something somewhere else, like you do stuff in the cave and you go all the way back. And I like the one long section. I don't know what that's talking about. Probably like near the end where you have to scale the side of the building. There's like one annoying-ish part, but like, I don't know. That's like the calmest part of a game. Besides the dread of if you fall, you have to do it all over again. But I don't think I've ever fallen, because I'm good. Next is As Your Drains. Small game where the main objective is having the eggs to access it. There's 2 bosses, and then it ends in a secret dev wall that implies they will totally add more. That aged poorly? Let's not talk about that. Here's Haikimono Club and Resort. Egg. Okay, here's the lore. So, strange and not at all canon lore analysis. So, like, basically this is just interpretation. Oh yeah. Never mind, there's a disclaimer for what I want to say. This lore analysis is just my interpretation. Obviously none of this is true and most of the lore is up to the fans. Like, basically all the lore is up to interpretation, I believe. Besides, like, lore they created in each of the games, but like the wider scope of Gears is for interpretation. Like Enchanter's Turnpike has its own lore or whatever with all the people that went there and what they did. But like interpreting the broader context of that and the whole universe is for interpretation. And they don't really tell us anything. And I don't know if the creators have ever created lore or acknowledged fan theories. Maybe they have. If they did, it would be in Discord. I haven't really looked. You can't really explain away every reason something has to exist, and the fact that this is a game also means that some things can't be explained, as they don't exist to serve the player IRL, so just the eggs and badge locks. Like, obviously a lock that requires a badge isn't gonna have an explanation in universe, basically. This is just saying, like, I can't really explain every single thing. And, like, obviously some things aren't gonna be answered. And I'm doing this anyway. So, here's strange and not all lore can. Ooh. But actually. So this is like the main thing. Uses the clockwork behind the stars, which is the game's subtitle, but also represents how the game and its facilities could be used for development, creation, and management of the world. Whew, I'm out of breath. There's a lot of lore that I wrote a long time ago. And a good example of how What? Oh no. I missed a word. But a good example. Oh no, a good example is how. Okay, never mind. I'm just stupid. A good example is how Tuscan Tramway, Black Plexus, and likely Tan Cityscape are all connected by train tracks. Did I mean Tan Cityscape? That's strange. I don't know if there's like train tracks. I mean, okay. There's like the train near the beginning, like when you're traveling across that bridge to get to the part with the rotating robot thing. You could argue that's a train that's connected. I suppose that's what I was getting at. But this would have been easier to talk about when it was freshly in my mind, but obviously this is months old. But yeah, those could be, like, a mere existence of a train, I guess, could imply they're all connected. There's production lines in Black Plexus, like where the egg is. There's also, as well as many train stations that are used for transportation, presumably. Because there's just a lot of trains. Obviously nobody's there, because it's Gears. Didn't really talk about the abandoned world thing, I don't think, but that's another theory, I suppose. That's more of like an observation. Just because like there's like not anyone in most of the games, and most of the people that are there are like hostile. Except for Tan Cityscape, that weirdly is a lot of people that you can talk to. It's just whatever. And Tan Cityscape has certain production lines as well, which means they're obviously connected. Oh my god. The area is likely used more as a residential zone, implied by the existence of the city. Because Tan Cityscape. I mean, there's homes in Black Plexus too, I think. Like, there's like that city in that game too. So maybe people live there. And Tuscan Tramway is also a train station. And it directly connects to Black Plexus. We don't know if it's by train, obviously. But like, there's that alternate path that leads into Black Plexus. It's really just like a trap door. Which is weird. I don't really get that, but that might be something to serve the player. That's not worth talking about. We don't know. Each Gears hub houses different facilities, meaning each one is connected, but each serve a different purpose. So yeah, like they're mostly connected for the sake of the game, probably. They're probably meant to be like their own isolated worlds in the lore that does not exist. I don't know. But they're all connected in game, so that's like the easiest thing to say. Well, they're all connected in universe too. And Chromatic Corridors is directly connected to Tuscan Tramway. But I don't know, Chromatic Corridors doesn't seem like a place where people would like live or something. There's like benches and stuff, like places to sit down and counters. It's almost like there's a train station too. Maybe it's like a place you go to mainly for the train station, I don't know. But there's like a building you can rest in or something, who even knows? The presence of Gravity Gardens being a kingdom where people reside, and Teapot Temple, a place of worship, back this up. Oh, I guess because, yeah, Chromatic Corridors. If anything, Chromatic Corridors almost seems like a place you'd go, like, as a higher underdog to drop into universes. I don't... That's going a bit far, but... I suppose what I really mean is like chromatic corridor is like a middle crossing. It's a liminal space with the direct definition of liminal, where it's like a place of passing. Because Gravity Gardens is like a residence and Teapot Temple is a place of worship. So it's like you would go to chromatic corridors to go to those places or to go to Tuscan Tramway or whatever. Blizzard Bypass and Crimson Cataflackway could both be factories or depots that people abandon, possibly because of the influence of monsters, which are like bosses. Like Blizzard Bypass could have been a place where they made stuff, because there's like lava and stuff, and there's like a factory. So yeah, it could have just been like a facility in the mountains where they made stuff or created something. But like the evil oak tree, like either that was a creation by them or it like made all the people leave and presumably has influence over the lava. I don't know. There's also a possibility that each of the enemies in these places were created with the intent of assisting work or with different purposes but became uncontrollable, which is like kind of only backed up by the fact that Crimson Cataflac is like obviously a factory, and there's like the weird arm machine in the brain which like presumably controls the arm, or maybe like the whole facility or something, who knows. But that arm could have been something that was like created to help with work but like became uncontrollable, either just wanted to kill us because we were being mean or something, I don't know. And here's even more lore. Trucks have a mysterious power to grow large trees that can act as transport devices. This is where it starts to get stupid. Actually, no, that's later, but this is like where it starts to get a little bit stupid. Because that's so dumb. There's only one example, which is brown woodwork. And it's either a place accessed by using the etrog somehow, or takes place within the tree, resulting from obtaining and most likely planting several etrogs. Like when you collect all of them in the big tree, and then you can go to brown woodwork. I'm leaning towards it takes place in the tree. I don't know. Who really knows? Because like, assuming the etrogs have magical abilities to create trees that transport people, that just sounds stupid. But I don't know. It could be. Mainly talking about it just because it's a hypothetical, I guess. And brown woodwork is likely a wood production facility, but it's kind of hard to say. There's like logs when you get to like the main game, and there's like some buildings that imply there were something there. Like there's like a bunch of tech stuff, but there's no like saws or trucks or whatever, obviously, that imply they're like using it as a wood production place. But the fact that there's logs kind of makes me think that that's what they're there for. And oh yeah, also it could be the metaphorical roots of gears, which is like, I don't know, roots of gears, as if like gears was a tree, I guess, and that's like the base of it. But like brown woodwork honestly doesn't seem that important in universe, so that's kind of a stretch also. It's kind of implied by the name of the first badge. I think I said that already, but it's like the description of it is like at the roots of all or something. I don't really remember, but I don't know. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Black Plexus hosts an artificial ocean, which could be used as a way to transport via water. There are many boats and warehouses in the area, and also the artificial ocean houses many creatures in the aquarium, including human test subjects, which I still don't really get. An old joke I used to tell at the club was that if I had one question I could ask Termite King 9 is,
why are there people in the artificial ocean? Because that's like, I don't know. That's probably not the only thing I would ask. I guess there was a Q&A. I should have asked that. Rats. I joined kind of late. That's my excuse for not asking anything. Also because I didn't want to cause anyone trouble because everyone seemed so out of it. Like, no. Like, it's not that they didn't want to be there. It's like they had a lot of questions and then, like, everyone was in distress because of what Roblox was doing. So, I didn't really want to ask, but maybe one day they'll just explain it. I don't know. Including human test subjects, that's right, I left off. And a large anglerfish. Play the boss. No, don't play the boss music. That can breathe outside of water and uses lightning powers to shoot projectiles. Also, the angler can persist after death, which is kind of weird. I assume it regenerated. Maybe. Because, like, it was only a head. So it could be like you killed it, but it entered like larval state. I don't know. Who freaking knows? The aquarium in this section could be intertwined with another dragonfish game. That word, aquarium, which has many similar creatures in the thing. But that game doesn't really have anything in it, I think. My headcanon was always that there was more to that game, like you had to do something secret to open it up, but I think people would have figured that out. I mean, it's intertwined. I wouldn't say... I think that's more just like because there's common species in the Gears universe that are like kept in aquariums. Here's big lemur section. Lemurians were a race of people who worship stars and starlight. Which is... Okay, that notification scared. My phone just jump scared me, but is likely created or were influenced by Starlight Monument. Oh wait, no, likely okay, so the Lemurians maybe created Starlight Monument, but probably not, because like they were probably just influenced by it, because like Starlight Monument seems like a place above the earth. There's a bunch of like spiritual ghost people there. So what I took away from it was that they worshipped it, and it was like a place like heaven that they wanted to be to, or wanted to get to. Because they wanted, like, they say, may the stars guide you, or whatever. So I think that's like their heaven or something, I don't know. A lot of liberal use of the term I think, because that's all I can do about this is think about it, because I can't really say anything is for sure. And the labyrinth is what remains of their home, which is now mostly deserted, like every Gears game. But theirs is just like completely dead. Also, the Lemurians are like, they have like skeleton. I can't tell if they're decaying or if that's just what they look like because they're Roblox characters. It's hard to say. The path leading to the egg is a mining facility, which could explain how Lemurians were able to develop machines, like the ones with the really long and stupid names. There's like Big Cube Guy, and Turret Guy, and Turret Guy with Propeller Hat. Like those three, and the rolling spheres. There's a large mining machine being used to collect ore in vast quantities, likely for production, which is like the boss of the egg path. And the Lemurians created a machine deep in the city that was meant to replicate Divinity, but it was never fully completed. The parts were scattered across different rooms, and when repaired, the machine attacked. Which is like basically just the plot of the game and the ending segment. The machine in its creation could have been influenced by Starlight Monument, but it's true. That would be weird. I don't know. And perhaps the Lemurians even gained some sort of secret through their worship, allowing them to develop machines with some sort of magic. Like, maybe, like, through studying Starlight Monument or whatever, they, like, discovered forbidden tech, and they created, like, an artificial seraphim, which I think is the name of the boss. but it's like supposed to be an artificial angel. So that's why I think it's connected to Starlight Monument, because that seems like their heaven. Or maybe like the machine was completed, but they scattered the parts because it went rogue. And it's hard to see. There's clearly like an energy core also in the second phase, which is like just the raw power of the machine, like going haywire. So it could be like their creations are like sentient because of magic, which is probably more explainable. And the Lemurians have a hidden crypt far underground with a locked door. There's also several secret rooms that can be accessed from main hallways and rooms in the city, and their purpose isn't clear. But those are like, I don't know. It's like that gigantic room with the floating key that we'll never get to go to. And there's that room with the water and the crates that does nothing. I think those are just head scratchers. But the crypt, we don't really know anything about. I mean, obviously, it would probably lead to like a sub-game or a sub-area or a different ending. But that's not happening anymore. So, I mean, if I could go there, I would be able to narrate more in this segment. Obviously. I don't know how far through we are, but here's more. The Dragonfish Explorer Club, which is maybe the name of it, I'm pretty sure that's right, is a group that discovers and documents strange places in the Gears universe. Like, they've been to... Okay, yeah. The group is split into two smaller groups, one venturing to terminal calculation, the other venturing to Lavender Ledges. I guess there was a third group, as of now, that went to Enchanter's Turnpike, and they like set up the clinic and stuff, and they like fought with the locals and other stuff. So this is a little outdated. They probably split into three, I'd want to say, because the other two stuff like went wrong, but the third one at Enchanter's Turnpike, they like successfully set up stuff. I mean, obviously it went wrong in the end, but we don't know how long they were there for before we arrived. Like, obviously the whole place is like destroyed or whatever, but like that could have happened overnight for all we know. And all three crews created a camp in each location, and the remnants can be found in each game. But like, obviously the remnants in Enchanter's Turnpike are far more comprehensive. And the Lavender Ledges crew discovered many new species, and that was likely their primary reason for being sent, or for adventuring out. I mean, obviously they're explorers, so that's kind of their job, is to go out and find new stuff, but like, Lavender Ledges had a bunch of, like, they mainly went for biology studies, probably, because there's like a bunch of stuff. Also, Termite's letter attached to the climbing gear in the cave points out that the crew was sent to study Lavender Ledges, and that many of the crew members were inexperienced, so that's probably why it went wrong. Like, most of them died, presumably, or like fell, or yeah. We don't really know what happened to them, obviously, but it's easy to assume, because like a lot of them weren't experienced with climbing and stuff, but there's like a lot of things to climb. I guess like the hooks placed in the walls and in the cave like imply that at least somebody knew what they were doing, and they like left a path where the people went and where they came and went. So I guess they kind of set up, but it's obviously abandoned when we arrive. And Lavender Ledge's original purpose is unclear, but the presence of building implies there was some development. And most of the game takes place in naturalish caves, implying the caves and cliffs were merely built around. It's extremely hard for me to say if the adventurer or the explorers like built everything. I'm pretty sure that's not the case. There could have been natives that died a while ago or something, but like there's like a bunch of buildings, which is weird. It's like naturalistic, but then there's like clear facilities and stuff. So I just want to say there's probably like There were probably people there before the explorers. But it's just kind of weird to think about, I guess. And here's more, which is more Lavender Ledges and Turnpike. The alchemical machine in Lavender Ledges could potentially be another way of creating the big potion present in Enchanter's Turnpike, because they both use similar ingredients but in different ways with different results. Like basically just using all the alchemical signs. Like the machine doesn't have a clear purpose besides like opening a door, I guess. But maybe the machine like did something if you knew more about it. Like the people who originally created it, maybe they used it for something else, but we can't ask them. Enchanter's Turnpike is likely another residential area. Okay, yeah. Even more so with the village and the other path. But like this was just when the only path was the original one, which had like the Lurgsville place or whatever it's called. But with the influence of magic, a large creature was created, presumably, because now that we have the context of the other path, it could be that it was created in the lab, which is where the knights are, and that I think, is it Empress? Shoot, I think it's Empress, I don't remember. Like the big thing that waddles towards you. Like, since those were either created as a spin-off of the monster, or the monster in the original path was created by the people in the lab, but we don't really know. I want to say that the monster inspired the other two that we find in the other path. Like the original big monster. But, I mean, since it's a magical game with potions and stuff, it's likely that it was just created with magic. Or it like mutated from magic or potions or something. And it wreaked havoc on the town. And the people are zombies. Thanks to influence of spores and toxins emitted from the creature, presumably either that or it's just like from the land itself. There's like spores found in, like the spores are a big part of the second path, and like the mushrooms are there. And the like toxic goo is also there. It's hard to say where that comes from, but who knows. Enchanter's Turnpike has both a church and a shrine relating to Starlight Monument. Okay, only the shrine relates to Starlight. The way I punctuated this makes it seem like the church does, but the church is just like in the town. But the shrine to Starlight Monument is there, which possibly confirms that Starlight is some sort of religion in universe. That was kind of... It's weird that I said that after talking about Lemur's Labyrinth forever. But yeah, I think Starlight is a religion, I don't know. Or it's like heaven or something. At least to the Lemurians. I mean, it probably means something different everywhere else. And by using material derived from moon and stars, possibly sent by emissaries of the Starlight, one could create a potion that can sense invisible objects, implying that Starlight has the power to see the unseen, or just, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the Starlight would be powerful, I guess. Magically or whatever. Also, Philosopher's Keep kind of adds to that, because, like, you kill that gateway thing, and you can enter that through that Starlight Monument, but not, like, the actual one. I mean, the one in Enchanter's Turnpike. But yeah, that also implies, maybe that's like I didn't really write about Philosopher's Keep, but I'm not going to add to this now, I don't think. Okay, so here's like even weirder stuff. Games that are less realistic, which is kind of dumb to say, but hear it out, could be dreams that the player is going through, or the dreams of other characters, which this is just because some of the games like Autoclave and Sea Above the World seem more fanciful in nature And games like Dusk and Desistance could be nightmares that are based on actual experiences, which is why Dusk and Desistance and Blizzard Bypass are so similar. And Escape a Giant Garden could also be considered a dream. Like, those are just, like... A lot of the Gears universe seems, like, semi-grounded. Like, there's people and, like, vehicles and stuff, and, like, old abandoned buildings. So, like, a game like Autoclave has, like, a bunch of floating islands and other stuff. And also just is, like, weird in nature. And Sea Above the World, you're, like, literally in the clouds, like, walking in clouds and stuff. So, like, games that are more fanciful in nature, like I said, those could be considered dreams. Also, the dream theory is overall very popular, and there's a bunch of ways it can be proven, but I kind of like my ideas more, don't at me. Just my acknowledgement. Like, the dream theory is probably the most popular. I don't know. I don't really talk to gearheads. Gearheads, that's like a slur. I meant lore enthusiasts. Yes. I don't talk to lore enthusiasts. So, yeah, but the dream theory is presumably popular. But in my opinion, that's like kind of a weak thing. It's almost like an excuse. Like, since we don't understand a lot about it, and it's like most of the games are weird with weird stuff happening, it's like a dream. The only thing the dream thing makes sense for with me is like, I don't know. I guess since it's fantasy, it can be a dream, but also since like there's a bunch of games you go to, and they're all like super different, means that they could be different dreams. I don't know. I don't really like the dream thing, but you know. Here's even more. Strict construction and autoclave have many industrial industrial vehicles marked with Termite King 9 contractors, which shows that Termite owns a contracting company. And he also owns Dragonfish Explorers, presumably. His likely reference to the actual Termite and his group, which literally built the games in Roblox. Okay, that's funny. But I can also explain how some places received urban development. I like how, like, since Termite King contracts, I don't know, and he built the games. I think that's funny. I hope that's their intention, because that's just a joke. Termite's contractor group is also tied to explorers who visited Terminal Calculation and Lavender Ledges, and Enchanter's Turnpike. Judging by the note present in the latter, which is Lavender Ledges, the presence his group has an autoclave could enforce this further, since if the game is a dream, the player would likely have seen the group in reality in order to dream of its existence. So yeah, this is presuming autoclave is a dream, but like, obviously you can't dream up, I mean, you can dream up made up stuff, but like most dreams are built off of what already exists. So like if the person dreaming saw the contractor group or like a vehicle or something, then they'd see, like, that's how I would explain the vehicle found in autoclave, at least near like the cave. I would still probably call it a dream though, since there's not enough strange aspects to overpower how grounded it seems. Wait, what? I don't even know what that's talking about. Okay, never mind, I skipped a line. Whoops. Strict construction as a whole is kind of weird. It feels similar to autoclave in the sense that it's all cobbled together, but it doesn't feel as dreamlike. I think there's a bunch of random elements. I would say it's a dream, but it's like kind of on the fence. I'd still probably call it a dream though, since there's enough strange aspects to overpower how grounded it seems. Like big sun rolling through the maze and other stuff like that. And fighting literally Andromeda. Also, dreams tend to be a mix of many different things that mix together. And dreams themselves can sometimes be realistic to a degree. It's like, yeah, sometimes dreams are more grounded than other dreams, but like, it could be like the person dreaming sees something normal at first, like you start out in that cave and that seems like normal. But then there's like sentient crystal, sentient sun rolling through maze, weird bats, and like weird ice cave, and I don't really remember other stuff. Just like really weird stuff in strict construction that I don't remember. I kind of forgot the middle. Here's like a somewhat newer edition, I guess. The enemies in Crimson Cataflauk. Spicy. The arm boss and the brain boss at the end could be part of a larger creature that was killed. The Hard and Pink substation could have belonged to this creature as well, but I don't know. It's strange. The large skull near the beginning of Crimson might also be the creature's skull. I don't know. I mean, it does look humanoid. That could be the case. I don't know. I like to imagine that the arm and brain are like actually just machines, like I mentioned earlier, but they just look like human parts. They do bleed, I think. I don't know. There's also lungs. It's just strange. It's strange. That's the gig. Also, rock bottom makes no sense. A facility deep under terminal calculation that seems to produce the gliders and other enemies. Like, there's like a bunch of dead bodies in that one room, or presumably just lifeless, not exactly dead, since they can be like deployed or whatever. Because like they seem, it's like a factory where they make stuff and then send it up into the maze to like live out. It's really weird. And the game might be called Terminal Calculation because it is a simulation set up by some mysterious higher power. And like, I guess the people in Rock Bottom, like those knights or whatever, they like maintain it, and there's like a bunch of computers and stuff. Maybe it's maybe it's just like a big simulation meant to calculate something. I don't. But why would they bother making a simulation of that anyway? Is like kind of why the theory is like kind of weird, because like, sure, you can make a simulation and like spawn in people or like make people to live in it. Doesn't really seem to serve a purpose though. I guess we wouldn't really be expected to understand because it's not really meant for us. Ooh. Here's a long Enchanter's Turnpike segment. Dr. Hauser appears in Tan Cityscape long before he appears in Enchanter's Turnpike as one of the doctors. I think I said that earlier. But yeah. And the Eternal Man we bring death to is obviously Dr. Newman. I forgot how to spell it. I think it is 2 N's. Or 2 M's. It's either 2 M's or 2 N's, I don't know. And somehow most people and entities we meet know about him. Like the tree knows all, I guess, or whatever. But we hear bring death to the Eternal Man multiple times. From multiple sources, so he's clearly built up a reputation. I wonder why. He seems like a decent guy, honestly. The Brewroot saplings can speak, but they usually just speak in random words. I actually didn't know they could speak until like my second run. But they just speak in random words that are out of order. I think some of them are more coherent than others. Obviously there's like the guy behind the wall, but that's like just a normal tree. The native villagers in the town seem to live with the host enemies, like the zombie guys. Well, not literally zombies, because there's literally zombies, but like the hosts are like just guys with mushrooms in them. Yeah, which have mushrooms growing out of them. Suggesting it might be a part of their life cycle or some kind of tradition, I don't freaking know. The village elder was likely a wizard and possesses a wand from Philosopher's Keep, and you kill him and steal it in Sinner's Heart because you're a bad person. There are many entities, such as the knights found in the laboratory and the Empress, which I talked about earlier, that are similar to the Blorgsville monster. I think it's Blorgsville, I don't know. Suggesting that the creature could have been made by someone else and that the zombie outbreak was caused by it. I mentioned that a little bit ago, but yeah, I was thinking about that. Okay, here's Sinner's Heart. Sinner's Heart is kind of weird. Killing all the villagers attracts the attention of some sort of entity, likely a reference to the game Undertale, made in 2010 by Tobret Fox. The gray world you reach is likely some sort of pocket dimension / alternate world, and seems to contain some elements of the original game, such as the seeds and the ingredients and other stuff. So like it's kind of just a place that exists in the game, I guess. But it seems like a different place entirely because like you kind of just drop into it. It's really weird. The Brood's curse speaks when solving the piano puzzle, suggesting that the great Brood can exist after death, or might have agency over the world, like how it says its roots have spread far or whatever. And the curse like is like an eye that follows you. There's an even weirder theory here. I could technically say like since Dinar's oak or whatever in Blizzard Bypass and the other tree in Dusk and Dissonance have like eyes that follow you around, you could say that every tree is capable of placing a curse on someone. But that's the largest stretch I've ever heard. The Saprogenia, I think that's how you say it, could maybe be some kind of mutated brute or something made from the trees found in the gray area. But I don't know, that kind of changed. I rewatched the video because I kind of forgot about Sinner's Heart or some stuff in it. And it's like clearly a flower. Like it turned into a big flower when it dies. So it's probably just a flower, but it could still be from the gray area or whatever. And when you pick up the key to start the fight, your lives are multiplied strangely, suggesting that whatever power has agency over the fight, or the Saprogenia itself, has the power to influence the game. Like it can directly control how many lives you have, which is kind of strange. Same thing kind of happens in Gravity Gardens. That's easier to say as a simulation though, but we'll see that later. At the end of the route, you end up in what is most likely purgatory or hell. Whatever controls the world noticed your foul actions and decided to trap you for your wrongdoings. This also leads to the bad ending of the game, where you likely spend the rest of time stuck in the maze. Also it says game over, so yeah, that's just a bad ending. And whatever entity it is, it may have been some thing or someone that was also sent to purgatory, since it states, "I am right beside you." Like, you know, it's its last line before the bad ending. Either implying that it shares this fate with you, orchestrated it for you personally, or is just sharing the same fate as you for similar wrongdoing. I wrote shares twice, whoops. But yeah. Since it says I'm right beside you, like maybe it's also has a sinner's heart, and it sees your sinner's heart, and it knows you will share a fate similar to it for the rest of time. Okay, so we're nearing the end, so here's the stuff that is way too much of a stretch. Like, this is like the crazy stuff, even though I've talked about crazier things already, but the artificial ocean and underwater gospel could be connected if there's only one ocean. I mean, there's no way to disprove it outright, since, like, you can't go underwater in Black Plexus. It's stupid. All of these are dumb, which is why they're reserved for this section. Gravity Gardens could be a simulation, based on the fact that one of the endings seemingly ends in a glitchy mess, and the filter over the screen makes it look like it's a game being played by someone else. Not playing as your own character when you join somewhat corroborates this. Like, the perspective you have playing the game is like of someone else. Or actually a better thing would be like your Roblox character, or the character you play as in universe, is playing a game. That's kind of a better idea. We'll go with that. The keys are used as eggs. The eggs are used as keys in universe to unlock certain things, reinforced by the key egg and egg hunt. It also starts to make no sense when you wonder why the mining zone in Lemur's Labyrinth had to be locked, or why Extra Drains is locked behind 6 different keys. So the eggs are probably like one of those things I mentioned earlier. It's just like a gameplay aspect you can't really explain. I mean, the eggs are probably like physical objects, but like why they'd be coveted is questionable, or why they'd be used as keys is questionable. That's probably just a gameplay aspect you can't really explain. Why are there images of bosses and enemies in Black Plexus? It shows that the bosses were engineered by someone or something maybe, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why a big heart was engineered. And also the Crimson Cataflact thing from earlier also doesn't really make sense because the heart's like way too big for a body of, or for the body that would possess the arm found in the game. And I think this maybe proves the idea of big machines being created for different purposes originally, but became corrupted after they were abandoned. They were always created to be evil. Especially like the robots in Black Plexus. Those seem like why would they be created? Because they're obviously like, unless they were just made to be hostile, but I have a feeling that's not the case. There's like a bunch of examples of that through various games, where like bosses are machines. And this is different in Mustiel Tomb and Lemur Labyrinth, since those creations were likely for worship / religious purposes. I think Mustiel Tomb in reference to the mummy's hand, but that's not really a machine. I guess like the pyramid guys that show up in Black Plexus, I don't know. I think there's like a picture of Mustiel Tomb boss or something on the wall, and that's what made me put that. I don't really remember, frankly. Oh, that's the end. Okay. So that was exhausting. My throat hurts, and I'm going to die in 2 seconds. So yeah, my life is going great. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Gears lore, because I've been sitting on this slideshow for a while. And yeah, that's basically it. I talked about every game, kind of. I talked about all the lore I had. I played most of the games. I uploaded most of the games. I even made a tier list. I basically did all the Gears stuff, is what I'm trying to say. So this is like quite possibly the last actual Gears video. Like, I know I said that the last video would be the last one, but I think this is actually the last one, so yeah. I guess that's it. Thank you, Gears, for existing and occupying my mind eternally. I will never forget the fact that I know more about Gears than any amount of schoolwork I have ever learned in my past years. I hope you hire me, even though I know nothing. No, I'm joking. I'm just kitten. I'm small. That's the end. I'll actually end it now.